that was on stage yesterday.
Yeah, that's been a bit of a tale of the tape here this weekend in Visa. Lots of former World Youth Champions and finalists. 151 for Humphries will not be found. This has got so much potential, this game. And the reason for that is because we're in his backyard, but we have very respectful fans behind him as well. But when he hits shots like that, they will make their noise heard. For Humphries in this game, it's when you think that this venue is the only place that Bartons has played on the European Tour last year and this year. Every performance that he's had has seen improvement. 88 is average when he lost to Matters Rasma last year. 92 in the first round. Hold the phone. Bartons had a 98 yesterday, and this is better. And he's forcing Humphries into perfect territory.
Well, we went very, very close indeed. Josh Rock last night with 8 perfect darts in that win against Chris Dobie. Humphries first to the plate this afternoon. And the dream dies with a collective groan amongst 3,000 Belgian fans inside the October Hallen. But a nice little acknowledgement there from Andy Bartons.
He's a classy dart player, as Andy. He's not someone who's going to go out there and make enemies. He loves to play the game. He loves a battle. But he has got a lot of respect in his locker. But what a game this is turning out to be.
Well, I tell you what, the clues were there yesterday, weren't there, with the 180s. And if you were involved again today...
In Prague next week, and he'd love to go there with a title in the bag the previous week. That's how Chisnell feels here. He won last week. He's defending this one.
6 darts for Bartons from here, with Humphries on 201. The crowd almost sensed there was going to be something special happening. I don't think he would have risked anything too flamboyant at that particular visit.
It's amazing to me as well just how small the misses have been for Andy in this match. Even when he's missed the trebles, it's been by the tiniest margin. 999.
Yeah, he thought it was in. He was lurching forward. 999 though, just one dart with Humphries ready to move on 104. And this could be, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, the perfect time to find a way through. The all-important 8th leg. And he's got it. Luke Humphries living up to his nickname, and another look of acknowledgement from Andy Bartons. He knows that is devastating timing from the #1 seed. Well, if this goes, and second McCann's off.
Well, Humphries is on a 2-darter.
60,
and he would love to just bam this the way that Bam did it yesterday.
And he may well do. 10 for the match for Luke Humphries.
80.
And he still can't claw his way over the line, and Andy Bartons is given a reprieve here. Treble 20, tops for the decider.
It's awkward. But not
good.
too awkward. Listen to that. This is the first game of the day. You might be right, Rob.
Sky-high averages.
I think that bullseye that he hit in the practice room may be key, especially when Bartons has got his 6th maximum. Can Humphries get to a finish? Yes, he can.
He's just been able to do enough, hasn't he, when Bartons has shown those moments.
Bartons has not lost since February. And he might keep the streak alive. If he hits 81, it will be 30 straight wins in all of darts for him this year.
Looks at the 12s, single, bullseye. Well, in the end, he was outside the green bell as well, so just a single one for 49, and Humphries on 18, nudging the wire with the first and on target with the second, and once again Luke Humphries comes through in a deciding leg shootout, this time against Andy Bartons, who...
Being here on a Sunday, it's like they're part of the furniture.
Yeah, Noppy's had 3 quarterfinals and a semi-final all this year. I mean, there's plenty of players who would give their right arm to have 3 quarterfinals and a semi on the Euro Tour over their careers. Paul Nicholson's just put his left arm up because he might be losing the right arm in a minute. Maximum gets him back in the leg. Not sure ton 40 is enough.
96.
I was just going to say, if he gets a single 20 there, then the debate of double-double when someone's on 161,
36.
it's rife at the minute. When is the right time to do the double-double shot?
We may come back to that. Nathan's not going to take the 161.
125.
But Danny made a mess of it anyway, and now he's under pressure. That's blocking some of the bed.
His ideal single would have been left of centre. But that's a really good tops hit from Danny, who was clinging on in there.
Quote-unquote correct treble, and you don't get it. You've got a bigger chance hitting that treble. Single 4 for tops. Danny Noppert continues to keep plodding along
64
on the shoulder of Nathan Aspinall, but the Asp loves a 170. Not today.
58. Danny, you require 40.
Should be 4-3. Following a bit of a pattern this game now. That's a nice marker for Danny. Beautifully used. Just glances off it.
You won.
And it was really, really quick as well. It's probably the funniest thing that Kim's ever said in such a quick response.
Well, this is the opportunity that Danny Noppert has been trying to carve out. Oh, a problem to the 17s. That leaves 1 at the bull. It should have been better than this. It's a glance at the scoreboard. He can't decline the bull with Asp on 127.
Not a chance.
It is too makeable a shot to set this up and decline the bullseye.
44.
Aspinall would love a shot at the bull now.
Nathan, you require 127.
Danny took a long time to think about that bullseye shot. I don't think Nathan's going to be thinking twice, because he wants the bull now. And it's the biggest star of the match. And you heard what he had to think about that.
Time flag, Danny to throw first.
It is another Nathan Aspinall, Danny Noppert game that is so tight. Really needs it in this leg to hold, throw and win.
You see him through that second dart, and he moved the first one to make way for the second one in the 60. That was forceful.
57. Nathan, you require 121.
Seal quarter-final spot. Does not get a match dart. Now, Danny Noppert has already missed the bullseye for a 161. That was in the second leg of the match.
He will think he's about to be disposed of.
100.
But he still gets himself in range just in case. This has got very similar feelings to Gratz, but it needs to be different for Aspinall.
What a guide. And he uses it. What a battling performance from Nathan Aspinall. He nearly collapses from the effort, but he's finally beaten Danny Noppert on the European Tour this year. Might end up being irrelevant what Damon does in this leg.
Just a glimmer of an opportunity to make his move with this one, but yeah, doesn't like those 2 first darts. That's really awkward. He's shuffling along the oche there, trying to find a way through.
90.
Goes for the bullseye.
106.
Yeah, sensible play. 25 would have left a 1 treble combo that doesn't require the bull. Johnny Clayton doesn't get a shot at the double. So this is an opportunity for Damon Heta. Does he go to the bullseye again? Does he go aggressive at the treble 17? Goes to the bull and hits it again. That leaves double 16.
75.
Well,
you require 8.
He didn't have any big combination finishes at all yesterday, Damon Heta. And I think he's going to need to start finding them if he's to beat Johnny Clayton. We're in that ballpark. He can sustain this. And if he does sustain it, I'm not sure Damon's got enough to deal with him. His highest ever average is 112.5, and he's just slightly above that at the moment.
Well, this is a really iffy spell for Heta. Visit of 45, 58 and 60. That's 3 successive visits without a single treble.
11s. Ball. Johnny Clayton with a 1-2-1 finish. Johnny Clayton is just doing whatever he wants. He's played some good darts. It's a shame that he was not able to live with a rampant Johnny Clayton in the opening 4 or 5 legs.
Just left himself too much to do. 161 for Clayton, took it out yesterday.
140.
Can he take it out again?
161.
Heta waiting on 138. The 161 for Johnny Clayton could well go on the bullseye.
136.
Missed match dart for Johnny Clayton.
138.
Well, a smirk from Damon. He thought it was happening again. I mean, the funniest outcome would have been if he declined the bullseye and then Heta took out the 138, but that isn't going to happen either. And Johnny Clayton has a chance to tidy up 25 for the good leg that he knew would get him over the line
25.
if he produced it. And he has produced it, Johnny Clayton. He snuffs out the fight back from the Aussie #1.
But he's missed 8 darts at double, hence that ta-da, and 2 arms going towards that double 18.
140.
I wonder who she's supporting today, now that all the Belgians are gone. I've seen a lot of young fans of Gary Anderson out there this afternoon with some Anderson paraphernalia on. He'll have a little bit of time to wait because that is the last game of the afternoon against Rob Cross.
135.
Well, this looks to be a lost cause for Campbell after that sluggish visit, and once again he's not really made any impression with that one as well. Double 16 for double 8s. That was a long way inside, but that one was more like it. Double 8 coming to his rescue once again, as it did in leg 2. 3 with the majority of players that you look at, apart from somebody like MVG, who is well in the frame for a 36th European Tour title this weekend, but he has Martin Schindler to overcome this afternoon, and then a potential meeting with either Rob Cross or Gary Anderson, 2 former world champions, meeting in our final match of the afternoon session for the right potentially to face another former world champion.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for MVG today, because he'd love to get that 36th title, but he'd like to win a PDC event in Belgium, a European Tour event in Belgium for the first time.
Chance for a break here for Van Dijvenbode. However, Matt Campbell is looking at the bullseye.
110.
And it just went from left to right again. And now Van Dijvenbode, this could be the moment. This could be the time to make your move. Shanghai. There's the treble. That's the easy bit. Back over to the right-hand side to find a way through. And dead centre from Van Dijvenbode. Devastating timing. Going out.
That's what some people thought.
Because they could fall, for example.
Correct. And then there are other people who would say, shake the hand of your opponent before you go and get them. And it's somewhat a 50-50 affair. I'm not bothered. Shake your hand first or go and get the darts first. Doesn't make any difference to me. But to some people, it's a big deal.
I think he used the word fetch as well, which just adds a little bit of extra gravitas. 130 for Van Dijvenbode for the match, and a passage into a quarter-final with Johnny Clayton this evening.
98.
And setting it up nicely, knowing that Campbell is slightly adrift on 250. Can he make any significant inroads here?
93.
Well, he can.
32.
He's down to a finish, but it's an ambitious target for Matt Campbell, because Van Dijvenbode is looking at double 16, and that all-important break of throw in leg 8 proved decisive. A nice embrace between the pair at the end of all that as well.
Would he say that that's his best performance, even though he didn't lift the title?
I mean, it's certainly up there, and particularly with it being MVG, I think he'd beaten him something like 27 times on the spin.
Yeah.
To that. Since then, he's got a pretty good record against him.
He might even think that 6-0 win against Mark Webster with 118 average is his best performance, but that's entirely up to Dave.
Well, the way this is going, he's going to need one of his best performances to stop Josh Rock, because he has flown out the blocks here.
60. Joshua Rock, 52.
Has beaten Josh the last 5 times they've played, including last weekend. Josh Rock is at it today, just as he was yesterday. That's 2 legs, 1 in 25 darts. It's no big thing picking up titles. He's used to it.
We don't have an all-time list, do we, of PDC title holders in rank? We know that Taylor and Van Geuren are at the top.
I'm sure there is there'll be a list, but
I remember looking at Colin Lloyd's career once, and I think he might have had 14 titles at one point. I thought, wow, what a career that is. Chisnell's got 5 more than that, and he's not even finished.
Yeah, I mean, I know you compare in different eras. There's an awful lot of events nowadays,
That's true,
compared to the old days. But Dave Chisnell was a serial title winner. And there are only 4 players, the top 4 in the world, actually, who've won more Euro Tour titles.
Joshua requires 40.
But at the minute, Josh Rock is giving him a bit of a schooling. Double 10 is there. 15 darter, 4-1. Dave Chisnell must win 5 of the next 6 legs, or the title defence will be ended in the last 16. Dave Chisnell in a must-hit situation. And that is a 15th 2-treble visit of the match for Josh Rock. He has pounded in so many of those visits.
It was tricky for Rock earlier on a shot like this, and the dart ended up on the floor, but this is going to need some sort of wizardry. A little bit of finding the angle. Where do you want to throw it from, Dave? Figure that out first, then this bit.
60.
Almost, and now Rock has match point.
Well, I thought Chizzy was going to get his protractor out there for a second, desperately trying to find a way through. Rock, treble 16.
84.
Interesting.
Could have gone 2 tops, decided against
20.
it.
Chisnell given a second chance. And I think he appreciates the order he's getting in this match compared to his semi-final last week in Leeuwarden. But this must go.
10.
And it doesn't. It wasn't close.
Requires 16.
Well, just when it looked like Dave Chisnell might be turning this around, Josh Rock gets match darts. Only moved after the second dart.
8.
And should he have moved after the first?
The second one popped up, didn't it? It actually moved the first dart closer to the double 8, which made it more of a blocker. Dave will not be able to believe that he's coming back to the board. What a marker.
Yeah, well, he doesn't actually end up using it, but he does find double 5.
It's driving him crazy. He can't afford any more on the floor for the rest of this game. That'll do. That's a nice way to recover.
180s for 3 legs running from Chiz. This could be some victory for Dave Chisnell if he can turn this around. Oh, great visit.
71.
Puts him 2 darts away from the win again. However, he's relying on Chizzy making a mess. Single 18. 1 at tops.
47.
He offers up another chance.
Require 94.
Bull route, and he gets it. Tops route. And wins it. That's a massive hit from Josh Rock because he had Dave Chisnell hunting him down.
Seeded players had to win 2 games to get here. He won 6-0.
140.
Starts with 5 perfect darts in this leg against Graham Usher. And then that victory over Peter Wright, where he did play brilliantly, and yet he still could have lost. 103 average. I mean, that's even higher than what Smith produced against Dimitri van den Berg yesterday, and he looked great yesterday.
Yeah.
41.
Yeah, it was I thought it was a classy performance from Michael Smith, and certainly what he said on stage afterwards, acknowledging Dimitri and the crowd, and even Luca Brissell as well.
Yeah, seemed to calculate and
Praised
move,
absolutely everybody who warranted praise, did Michael Smith in his post-match appraisal.
60.
Playing to the Belgian fans here.
120.
Congratulations to Luca Brissell. Oh, I love Tintin and Poirot as well. Can he find 2 balls? No, he can't. But he does leave himself on double 12 if Gabriel fails to take this out.
Well, can still go. Double 11.
69.
Anyone's favourite double, but he did get a dart at the outer ring, and I know it makes it difficult if he returns, but he got one dart for the leg. One dart wasn't enough, so he's 3-0 down. Yeah, he was still berating himself when he was 4-1 up, and now you're seeing why, because his level hasn't really dropped. Gabriel Clemens has just started taking his chance. Ooh, stick another in there, Gab. Would have left double 16.
82.
But yeah, can afford to just lay up because he's more than in position.
135. Gabriel Leclerc 52.
He did miss a couple of darts in that fifth leg in this area of the board. And he's done it again, the anguish. He can only finish things over a ton, anything less, and he's making a mess.
Touched the wire. Yeah, missed darts at double 16 and double 8 in leg 5 as Smith opened up a 4-1 lead. He's missed darts at double 16 and double 8 already, but he hasn't missed it this time. And Gabriel Clemens, having trailed 4-1, for a lot for Clemens.
Only managed to win a last 16 game a couple of times on the Euro Tour.
95.
Rob Cross in this tournament last year and beat Mensur Suljevic in Gibraltar.
93.
How can he set this up? Pretty well. Flawlessly, in fact. And all of a sudden, Michael Smith, the pressure is on now.
Reminiscent of the move he made in that match against Peter Wright yesterday. Oh, and he's got the bullseye for 84. Moving all around the board with real purpose.
Hammering away, Gabriel Clemens. This looks like it's going to a last leg decider. We've already seen one today. The top seed Luke Humphries survived a match dart from Andy Bartons. Will the top player in the world rankings have to dodge any bullets here?
77, Gabriel Leclerc 44.
Well, he's had one or two issues with double 16 and double 8s, but that's where he's going again.
20.
Yeah, can't find a way through. It's okay, 147. He'll be hopeful of returning, but do not rule this out in the slightest. Well, you can rule it out now.
41, Gabriel Leclerc 16.
Double 8. Double 8, Gabriel.
No score.
5 darts missed to force a last leg decider, and Michael Smith has not checked out anything over 84 in this game. But double top seals the deal. Michael Smith, who was put in danger by a barrage of big finishes from Gabriel Clemens.
He showed so much class in seeing off Portugal's number 1. It was almost vintage Van Gerwen, because we talked, Dan and I, about that streak of last leg deciders that he won. At one point in European Tour history, he just didn't lose in the last leg of a contest.
Yeah. Well, this is their latest meeting on the European Tour stage. They've had 2 fairly recently. In fact, the semi-final in Riesa, MVG winning that one 7-4, and they met last weekend in the Netherlands as well at the Dutch Darts Championship. 3rd round stage again, similar seedings, 3 and 14. MVG winning 6-2.
434.
My word, that has to be the youngest fan ever in the darts. You missed it, Paul. We'll bring it back later.
Okay, tops.
That baby looks about 4 days old.
Good from the fourth leg, Michael
Bit of gumption from MVG.
Game.
Now we're now tied up. I think Germany are going to have a really big chance
Yeah, I do.
of going deep in the World
56.
Cup this year.
Yeah, just chatting to a couple of the players on the way here in the shuttle service earlier today as well, and they picked up on the point that this stage of the season where
57.
the seedings haven't changed, there is this repetition, and it maybe is something that they would like to see addressed as well, just to freshen things up a little bit. In terms of the
96.
Dan mentioned that idea yesterday of changing the seedings to reflect the current Pro Tour Order of Merit rather than the Pro Tour Order of Merit as it was at the start of March, when the qualifiers for this were held.
What you'll tend to find is that players will say something along the lines of a change needs to be made because something hasn't happened for somebody.
43.
Let's say, you know,
120.
someone has run into someone 3 times in a row and they've lost all 3.
Then they'll say it.
If they'd won all 3, they would say nothing.
Shanghai for Shindy. And no surprise that the Shanghai has landed as well for Shindy. 3-2.
Genie, isn't he? He roars and he's quick.
Yeah, his engine's not quite purring at the moment. It has, of course, purred on many occasions.
Trying to say he needs a tune-up.
He's just keeping that engine ticking over at the moment. Then again, so is Schindler. I mean, Schindler's going about his business very effectively so far today. And there's another 180 for good measure. On throw once again. Taking care of business on throw, Martin Schindler. And do you know what? That might be enough. Because he threw first.
I think there's a lot of people at home probably thinking if Martin was a car, he's a Mini. But there's nothing wrong with a Mini. They punch above their weight sometimes. And that is okay as long as he takes it next time.
Potential 13-dart leg incoming for Martin Schindler. That would be his best leg of the match so far, and perhaps the most important leg of the match so far as well, as far as he's concerned. Testing times. Yeah, that could be all the encouragement that MVG needs here. 47 points away, 15 for double 16. Absolutely no mistake whatsoever from the number 3 seed. I'd be walking away thinking, why has he done that? What's his game plan
exactly
here? Now then, Van Gerwen, what's your game plan from 1-3-2?
92.
That's the game plan.
You know what? Somebody did that to me once. It was Dennis Priestley in a semi-final of the Australian Open. He had 150 and went for bull with the first dart. And I was too busy thinking about that instead of the 3-match darts I had. And it cost me the tournament. Experience and skill together can yield much. And he cannot believe that did not go in.
Well, Shindy took out 120 in leg 5 for a 3-2 lead. This is for a break back to get back on terms at 4 apiece. 1 dart at double 20. And again, it's all he needs. Twice, the Shanghai is delivered by Martin Schindler. 4 apiece, and this one is very much in the balance. Will it tilt the way of Shindy once again? It may well do, you know. And he's left himself a finish after 9 darts. It's a big finish, but he's produced 2 big finishes so far.
This one's a bit harder.
Much harder.
And he doesn't have to hit it. But we said that about the conversion on the bottom left corner earlier in the match, and that's where he scuppered that chance. He has got himself into a more gettable range here, but Van Gerwen finds a 174. 100 less than that for Schindler to take the lead again. He's had it twice already in the match.
Bullseye for 5-4. Oh, well, that's astonishing. Lost his way with the first start.
Love another.
Shindy the slight favourite, but never rule out MVG in this position. Bullseye. And he can't find it. Match darts number 1 for MVG has been and gone. Martin Schindler should get match darts of his own. How many will he get? That's a single 12 to leave 53. Oh, and
Martin.
That leaves 47. He's missed the big number to leave a crack at tops.
This is like that guard in the Shawshank Redemption. He just taps his nightstick on the window and says,
33.
You're mine now. 38. Van Gerwen looking hungry to finish it.
Double 16. And my word, Michael Van Gerwen has got out of jail in that one. A 6-5 win yesterday and a 6-5 win once again against Martin Schindler.
Well, a good way of not leaving double 10 is never leaving tops.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is you see that dart is kicking over to the left-hand side, which is why he's trying to fill it up in the right-hand side rather than all that open space. If it's not open, it's covered. It's actually easier for him to cram all 3 in that side, that tiny little space, than move over to the open bit of red.
Oh, Rob was trying to do exactly the same with the bottom left corner, but it just didn't work.
17.
One of the risks of the way the dart behaves is that your miss is going to be right. And it was illustrated there by the single 2 on the 51 effort.
100. Gary requires 42.
10 for double 16, you would think. It is. Gary Anderson, the 14 darter, starting to find his stride, certainly finds the lead. Rob Cross.
You've won that, and I want that. Things like a Premier League. But Gary could also do that to Rob, because he's never won a European Championship, for example.
Well, I mean, he hasn't played the Euro Tour for the last 7 years, and in that time, the European Tour has become the sole qualifying criterion for the European Championship. So naturally, he hasn't been involved. However, the run that he's putting together here adds that on to the, first round prize money that he got in Leeuwarden. And with a bunch of events to come this year, not all of which he's going to be involved in, he is picking and choosing, and of course he's got to come through the qualifiers. But Gary Anderson could force his way to the European Championship, and with the way that he is playing so far this year, he has to be considered a very, very real contender for any of the big TV titles. Which was just taken as given for many years, but let's be honest, he wasn't fancied at the World Championship, and rightly so.
That's not a blocker. He could still find the right-hand portion of that 57, and you can see that it didn't even flick the flight or the stem, any part of the barrel. He's left double 12, though. Let's see what he's like on the double that won him those 2 world titles.
100. Gary requires 24.
But the way his darts behave these days, that looks like a great guide. There you go. Nice little bounce. This is a big ask for Rob, considering how he's played in this game. But if he is going to get a 25 here, he'd like it to be top right, not there.
Well, he's just not been close enough in so many of the legs. He's relying on Anderson missing. Double 10. He hates double 10.
50.
He's probably just thought something very similar to that.
Is he going to stay there? He's going to decide to go for tops. That was close to not giving him a shot at a double.
56.
He's just not comfortable this afternoon. And Anderson has got 5s, 4-5 legs.
Yeah, great dart from Gary Anderson. That dart at double top for Rob Cross. But it's the quality of Gary Anderson that's showing here. It's nowhere near the standards he produced against Ryan Searle, and it's not as good as the win against Krzysztof Ratajski. But the fact is, Gary Anderson is 3 darts away from reaching the quarterfinals on the European Tour with a loss of only 5 legs so far this weekend. Needs to find the treble. Clatters into the dart.
76. Robbie required 96.
He likes this number most of the time because it's part of his game plan. Staying on the 60 was the right move. Such a beautiful guide for it. But unfortunately, the curtain might come down on Voltage's latest challenge for a European Tour title.
Gary Anderson is in the quarterfinals on the European Tour. The Flying Scotsman beats Voltage.